new high-tech camera is tackling the invasive python problem. The camera uses special wavelengths of light to expose snakes hidden in the Everglades. You can see it here.
At first, it looked like a glitch, bright white blurs glowing on a pilot's screen, hovering over the dark, freezing wetlands of southern Florida. But as the aircraft banked lower, the shapes held their heat.
Researchers plan to attach a drone that allows the camera to identify a python and alert the hunter.
They weren't machines or campfires or weather anomalies. They were alive, and they weren't supposed to be there. What began as a routine thermal flight would expose a hidden invasion deep within America's last subtropical wilderness, one slithering silently beneath the grass, impossible to see by day. So, stay with us as we enter the marshes where modern tech is revealing an ecological war no one was supposed to witness. The hidden war in the swamp. The Florida Everglades stretch endlessly, a vast rippling sheet of grass, water, and sky that seems almost untouched by time. But beneath the surface, an invisible war has been unfolding for decades. Among the tangled roots and sawgrass ridges, a predator not native to this land has taken hold. The Burmese python, an apex constrictor native to Southeast Asia, has turned these wetlands into a hunting ground, and Florida into a cautionary tale. First introduced through the exotic pet trade, these snakes were released or escaped into the wild and found a paradise perfectly suited to their survival. Warm, wet, and full of prey, the Everglades offered everything they needed to grow, often reaching lengths of 15 to 20 feet and weighing over 200 pounds. Their camouflage is so precise that even trained biologists can step within inches of one without realizing it. These snakes leave no warning sign, no obvious trail. They vanish into the reeds by day, becoming one with the land. And while their silence may seem passive, their impact is anything but. Pythons have devastated local mammal populations, wiping out rabbits, raccoons, and opossums in some areas by over 90%. The more they feed, the more they spread, and the more invisible they become. Traditional tracking methods have failed to contain them, and by the time experts identify a hot zone, the damage is often already done. But at night, something changes. In the dark, the python's advantage disappears, and the battle begins to shift. Eyes in the sky. The turning point came when wildlife teams stopped searching by day and started looking by heat. Mounted on low-flying aircraft and drones, thermal cameras began sweeping across the Everglades after sunset, capturing the landscape not in color, but in temperature. What they revealed was startling. Against the cool blue of the nighttime swamp, clusters of heat lit up the screen, moving, pulsing, unmistakably alive. At first, pilots assumed the equipment was faulty. The shapes were too large, too numerous, and too still to be deer or panthers. But ground crews confirmed what the data suggested. These were not errors. They were snakes, Burmese pythons, bunched together in thick coils, absorbing heat from one another, and from the last rays of sun still stored in their enormous bodies. When grouped for mating or shelter, they generated enough warmth to glow like beacons on the infrared feed. Teams on foot followed the coordinates into unforgiving terrain. They pushed through waist-deep marsh water, swarms of mosquitoes, and dense brush, all in pursuit of signals that might vanish by morning. Often, they found exactly what the cameras promised: massive snake clusters, balled together like knotted rope, hidden in places no one thought they could reach. Cypress heads, canal banks, isolated patches of high ground. The effort was grueling, but the implications were clear. For the first time, officials weren't just reacting to sightings, they were hunting proactively, using heat itself as a weapon. A quiet revolution was underway, and the snakes could no longer hide. The biology that shouldn't exist. By all logic, these snakes shouldn't be glowing. Burmese pythons are ectothermic, meaning they rely entirely on their environment to regulate body temperature. Unlike mammals, they don't produce internal heat, and once the sun goes down, they should fade into the background. Cold, inert, invisible to thermal detection. But something didn't add up. Wildlife experts began to notice how long the snakes retained warmth, far longer than expected. Even hours after sunset, the largest individuals still glowed brightly on the thermal feed. Some even registered as warmer than surrounding mammals. The assumption was that these were exceptional cases. Then, in 2012, researchers uncovered something extraordinary. Burmese pythons can suppress their metabolism by as much as 55% for extended periods, allowing them to survive cold snaps that would kill most reptiles. By slowing their physiology and storing solar heat more efficiently, they were expanding their range and their threat well beyond what scientists had believed possible. This discovery flipped the script. If these snakes could survive further north, their invasion wasn't a regional concern, it was a looming national one. And the very trait that should have made them invisible, cold-bloodedness, was now turning into a thermal signature detectable by night flights. What had once been a biological footnote now became a strategic advantage. The same adaptation that let them push past winter also made them trackable in ways no one predicted. The mystery of their heat wasn't just explained, it was turned against them. With this revelation, Florida's thermal teams weren't just using advanced tech. They were racing to stay ahead of a super-adapted invader evolving in real time, the other shadows. In the night, snakes may have been the target, but they weren't the only thing glowing in the dark. As thermal flights crisscrossed the Florida wilderness, cameras began picking up heat signatures that didn't match the known wildlife. Some moved differently, others appeared in areas where animals weren't supposed to go. And sometimes, what the teams found wasn't wildlife at all. In the dense forests of Big Cypress National Preserve, one survey revealed multiple glowing hotspots that, upon closer inspection, turned out to be illegal encampments. These were off-limit zones, protected lands meant to remain untouched after dark. Yet there they were, makeshift tents, fading campfires, and the unmistakable outlines of people, visible only by the heat radiating from their bodies. Rangers who expected to find elusive panthers instead walked into the edge of human trespass. Thermal surveillance had become a kind of unintended patrol, exposing poachers, squatters, and those seeking refuge where they were not allowed. The cameras, suspended hundreds of feet in the air, could see through tree cover, picking up the faint glow of a sleeping figure or the warmth of disturbed soil. From that altitude, even a dying ember told a story. And while some flights ended with the rescue of animals, others exposed the risks they still faced, from people hiding in the same shadows. What started as an ecological mission was now reshaping law enforcement and land protection, revealing that in these wild spaces, the line between natural mystery and human footprint is thinner than we imagine. The expanding map of heat. As thermal cameras scanned deeper into Florida's wilderness, the glowing signatures began appearing in unexpected places. Some tiny and flickering, others steady and slow-moving. What started as a tool for tracking snakes was now mapping the invisible rhythms of an entire ecosystem, revealing species and behaviors that had long gone unnoticed. Near the coastal neighborhoods of Cape Coral, delicate traces of heat marked small, circular patches of ground. At first, they seemed like background noise, easily overlooked, but closer analysis revealed burrowing owls, tiny birds nesting underground, whose body warmth subtly illuminated the entrances to their homes. Traditional surveys had consistently undercounted them, but now, with thermal imagery, entire colonies came into focus. This quiet discovery gave city planners a way to map owl habitats without disruption, preserving nesting zones even as development crept closer. Further inland, as winter chilled the rivers and coasts, the warm springs of Florida lit up with the thermal glow of manatees. These gentle giants, unable to survive in cold water, gathered in these constant 72-degree refuges in remarkable numbers. From above, the heat signatures formed slow, shifting constellations beneath the surface. With no need for boats or divers, scientists could count, monitor, and protect them from afar, guiding policy decisions like slow-speed boating zones and seasonal habitat protections. Every new scan added to a growing mosaic of life. Species once hidden by darkness or distance now emerged through heat. The map was no longer just about danger. It was about understanding, connection, and the quiet revelation of what has always been there. Florida's skies are no longer just a backdrop. They're a safeguard. From silent drones to glowing signatures, we're learning to read the wild in ways never possible before. So next time you glimpse a light above the swamp, remember, it's watching, learning, and protecting. Share your thoughts below. Like the video and subscribe for more.